Welcome to the Network Table Podcast. Here's your host, Luke Van Every.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Network Table Podcast, episode 2. I am extremely excited to have our guest today, Jackie with ABCVIP. She's doing some amazing work. We've utilized her. I've been to a lot of her events, but I'm not going to tell you all about it because we have her here today. Jackie, what's going on?
Thank you so much for having me. This is such a great honor.
Yeah, well, we're happy to have you. Jackie, we've known each other for a while now. I know that ABC VIP is a real passion project for you, and you do such a great job. Every event I've ever been to has just been fantastic. But tell the listeners, what is ABC VIP and what you do?
Sure. So, well, first of all, thank you for the kind words. And ABC VIP is actually above and beyond VIP concierge. We're a hospitality and event agency. So what we do is we basically have streamlined the concierge process. So you basically pick a category, you pick what you want to do, customize based on your specific needs. And it's a really great way for us to give back to local businesses and virtual talent and really just everyone and anyone that wants to provide great experiences, because we're bridging the gap between people who are craving them and the people who want to offer them. So right now we partner with hotels and we offer these prearranged curated experiences on our platform to the guests. It's great for them because it's all inclusive. So they don't have to worry about, tax, gratuity, anything like that they don't even have to worry about a bill coming at all. So also pandemic wise, it's really safe because everything is prearranged. And once they show up, they just have a great time, no exchanges. And that's pretty much the gist of it.
Okay. So would you categorize yourself as an event coordinator or an experience coordinator?
An experience coordinator. So yeah, like our experience. So the difference between our experiences and our events is our experiences are basically one-offs, right? So if you and one of your friends are going out to dinner, then you would use one of our experiences. But our events are hosted by us. There's usually anywhere between 10 to 50 to 100 people. And it's like a hosted event. Whereas our experiences are really just a one-off where we basically put you in the hands of our partners who have promised and signed contracts saying that they are going to take great care of you. And that's the difference between those two. But yeah, I think that regardless if we're offering our experiences or events, we're still offering a great experience. So I would say experience curator.
I love it. When did you start ABC VIP?
So August 2017 is when I started my LLC, but I was still working 12-hour days from another job at that time. So I've been 100% all in since May 2018. And that's, we really launched in 2019. I'll get into that little fun story.
The classic side hustle turned passion, full-time job. I love it. So Jackie, I know there's a great story behind that. This is, like you said, you had other jobs. What was the first job you had out of college?
Okay, so this is so fun. I was an office supply salesman for WB Mason. And so I kind of had a territory that was mostly small. It was very small towns, mom and pop stores. They didn't have any Fortune 500 companies or anything like that. And I had a budget I had to hit every month. So when I tell you that my favorite pizza place that I would eat lunch in every day was one of my best customers, the gas stations, I left no stones unturned. So it was a really great job and taught me a lot. I was just cold calling. So I just walk into people's offices while they're busy at work and being like, hi, can we talk about toner or paper clips? And they'd be like, either get out or they would give me the time of day, and then we would become pretty much instant besties. And I'm still actually in contact with a lot of my customers from WB. So, and also my team and my boss. That was definitely a really fun first job.
That's awesome. So you were actually like Wolf on Wall Street selling me this pin.
Yeah. But actually the pin.
And was that in New York as well, or was that a different area?
So my territory was Pleasantville, Chappaqua, Bedford Hills, so parts of New York, but my office was in Stamford, Connecticut.
Man, so that was, I've had some tough sales jobs. That is one where you really got to be personable, and you got to have it in you to knock on that door and say, hey, your current provider isn't getting it done, but I'm Jackie, I'm going to get it done.
Actually, I feel like a lot of my customers just felt bad for me because I'm so relentless. Like I just would keep coming back. And I was like fresh out of college, so innocent. And I was like, can I just have 5 minutes of your time? And then finally I'd break them down and they'd be like, all right, fine, I'll give you a minute. I'm like, thank you. And then they would love me and then they would start ordering everything for me. So it was really cool to be, and plus WB is a great company because they offered so many different things. So, if we didn't get them for toner, we can get them for a break room or for janitorial supplies. So I like never gave up. And I was like, if you're not going to use me for one thing, I know you can use me for something else. So
I got what you need.
yeah, exactly. Whatever it is, I got it. I'm your guy or girl.
That is fantastic. How long were you there?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. Partially, honestly, because my team was so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, like in the mornings, we would always just kind of congregate in the morning, have the best time. Then we would go off, to our respective territories, and then we would come back and it would, happy hour. It was just like a really fun team. I made such good friends with the people that I worked with. And, especially when you build a book of business like that, and it was so hard to build by the time, it was just hard to let go of. You're like, oh, I don't want to start over somewhere else. So yeah, 3 years was good.
No, I mean, I know it as well as you do. The culture is what it can keep employees at a job for a long time.
Yeah.
A great man told me one time that you don't leave a company, you leave the culture or the management. So that's great. Again, what was the training like? Like what's day one there like?
Oh my God. So I just had to go out on the road with a manager and just cold call together. And I remember like the first couple of days, I was like, what did I get myself into? It's actually kind of a funny story. Well, it's actually a great story. So I didn't get the job at first. And at the time I just got out of college and there's the best bar that ever was in Danbury, Connecticut. It was called Boston Billiards. And I was a cocktail server there. And it was like such an easy job. I made so much money. It was amazing. So I was obviously interviewing for other jobs and I had a really good internship at a PR firm in Manhattan. So, and I did that for 2 summers. So, I was getting some good interviews, but I didn't get a job yet. And then I remember WB was the highest paying job that I had applied for. So I really wanted it, obviously. And so I went in for my interview. I went in for a second one. I followed up and they were like, oh, you know what? We're going to go with somebody else. And I was like, okay, that stinks. So that night I went into work and there was a sign on the door that said that the billiards bar was closed forever. And I was like, okay, now what do I do? So I wrote back to them. I was like, okay, totally respect your decision, but I would really like another opportunity. I'm willing to even work for free for a month just to show you that I can do this and I can be an asset to your team. And I guess he really liked that. So yeah, it was savage. So he really liked that. So I came in, he was like, all right, so you can come in for one more interview. The vice president of the company is going to be in town on Friday. Please come in for that. And I was like, okay, great. And I remember the morning of the interview was so intense because I don't drink coffee, so I drink Diet Coke. And well, I used to, I don't anymore. And I had a Diet Coke in the car because it was cold out. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get in the car. It's going to be nice and cold. I'm going to pop that bad boy on the way. And just nail that interview. I get in the car and it exploded everywhere. I mean, Diet Coke pouring from my
Diet Coke, not the car. The Diet Coke is.
Yeah, the Diet Coke exploded all over my car. So I'm literally on my way to Stanford, blotting my car so I don't smell like Diet Coke and just like, this is not real. But then I ended up getting the job on the spot. So it was kind of a cool story.
The classic, no, it doesn't mean no, it means not right now. And you didn't give up. That's incredible. I love that. So you were in college, waitressing, company shuts down, get told no, didn't go cry in a ball in a corner or said, nope, that's not how this is going to work. I'm incredible. Let's roll. That's an incredible story. I love that.
You.
All right. So what made us, what was the next step after that?
Okay. So because I did so well there, I knew I would always have a job there. And I was obviously really confident in my set of sales skills. So, but I always wanted to kind of see what my life would be like without living it by a number, because, you wake up, the first thing you do is check your numbers, and I just wanted to be around people and I wanted to kind of spread my wings. Like, I just felt like I had such a great life in Stanford and I had such great friends and such a good time, but I just knew that I wasn't reaching my potential. I knew that there was something really big out there for me and I just didn't know what it was. So I moved to San Diego with no job and no friends at 27.
Big fan of San Diego.
Yeah, how can you not be? And so I moved to San Diego with no job and no friends at 27. And I had no hospitality experience, but I wanted to be in hospitality because I wanted to be around people, but not live my life by a number. So with no hospitality experience, I was like, all right, they're not even going to look at my resume. So what I did was I put together a little bit of a brag book with some recommendation letters in my resume, and I just cold called myself at hotels in the area because obviously I was very comfortable doing so. So I was like, hi, can I speak to the manager? I'm Jackie. I don't have any hospitality experience, but I want to be a concierge. And I ended up getting the head concierge position at this boutique hotel on the beach. And I mean, it was the best experience. So I get in on my first day and I'm like, all right, so what do we do? And they're like, oh, just guests. And I'm like, well, I'm from the East Coast. We put plans in place. So I put together this process and we went from number 11 to number 3 on TripAdvisor in less than 4 months. And everybody was writing these 5-star reviews being like, oh, they went above and beyond, above and beyond. So I was doing really well there. But I just didn't want to live my life off tips. And they call it the sunshine tax. You don't make a ton out there. So I was turning 30. I was like, all right, this isn't sustainable. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to go and like make a company. I went down to the courthouse, which now obviously as an entrepreneur, I know that's not really how it works. But anyway, I went to the courthouse. I got myself like a legal company name and I didn't know what to call it. So I was like, all right, I'll just call it Above and Beyond VIP Concierge. Never thinking that this was going to be my company one day in any way, shape, or form. But people always ask me like, oh, do you ever think about changing the name? And I'm like, no, I kind of like it. And I love my logo. And I don't know, it just.
Your logo is great.
Yeah,
I love
thank
the logo.
you. So
and
yeah.
You know, that 80-degree weather in San Diego probably got, old after a while.
Well, they call it Never Neverland because like there's no season. So you just like, every day is summer. So it really wears on you. Let me tell you. I mean, like look forward to rainy days. Like I'm so excited.
One of my absolute best friends in the world. His wife is a traveling nurse, and they went from North Carolina to San Diego, and then popped around California at different hospitals, and then eventually we're like, yeah, we're going back to San Diego, getting a permanent. And I went and visited, and I was like, I live here now.
Yeah, it's the best place. I mean, everybody's so happy. It's just the best place.
All right. So now we're there. We have this company. We have the name. Yeah. Where do we go from there? Where do we start side hustling at?
Yeah. So so you never chase the money. You never chase the dollar. You chase the dream, right? So I chased the dollar. So when I got back to like New York area, I decided to get back into sales. And so I didn't have the best experience. So I got another sales job, which was also not a great experience. And I remember literally in that August 18, 2017, I was like crying, honestly, at lunch with this woman. And I was like, I just hate my job. And she's like, well, I'm sure you've asked yourself this question a million times, but if money wasn't an issue, what would you do? And I was like, oh, well, I would do what I did in San Diego. And that's the day that I started my LLC. And so at first I was going to be a concierge consultant going into distressed hotels to help build themselves up. And then I don't know. I was like, all right, if I have people sign an NDA, like, are they really going to listen to me? I don't want to give them my ideas and then them just not use me.
Right.
It's really like, who am I? I'm not like some heavy hitter in the game or anything like that. So I had to figure out a way to make myself indispensable. And that's when I started building the network. So I was like, all right, if I have a bunch of restaurants that I have partnerships with, then that's a little bit different of a conversation. So as I'm building them, I'm like, kind of thinking about the pain points that I have as a person that goes out in New York City.
Of course.
And, the worst thing when you are out to lunch or dinner with your friends and everyone's having a great time and then the bill comes and everybody's like, all right, so do I be that person? Or I'm like, I didn't buy all this stuff. I didn't get all this stuff. So can I get a separate check? Or do you just like pay extra because you don't want to be that person? You just split it evenly. So then I was like, it'd be really cool to do, prearranged experiences that are already up and then they're customizable, obviously. And then also they're all inclusive. So I wouldn't have, the bill would never come. So that awkward moment would never happen. And turns out that actually ended up to be a really great model because corporate guys loved it. So at the end of their lunch, or first of all, they're getting there and they're having a better experience than they would normally have, right? So they got like a lunch through us at Maloney and Porcelli. They got this amazing lunch. They're getting VIP service, the best seat in the house, unannounced complimentary items. And then the bill never comes. So the clients would be like, oh, well, like I'll get the bill. And our clients, our business partners, they'd be like, oh, well, it's already taken care of. And they're looking like bosses right now. So that went really far. And then also, a sad kind of reality is a lot of tourists might not have the best experiences because some wait staff don't really take as good care of tourists because they know that a lot of them aren't really, super great at tipping.
Yeah.
Tipping's like a big thing. That's how wait.
And I can see it from the tourist aspect when you get to New York. And I was a victim. I was a victim of this. I moved to New York sight unseen and had a thought of what New York was, and everybody, 90% of people outside of New York think New York City is Times Square.
Yeah.
But that's not true. Times Square is great. We can walk through it real quick, but then let's show you New York. Now, I can see coming to you and being like, hey, I want a great experience. That's what they're going to get. And then they're going to have that memory of that great experience and go and tell the world like, hey, I went to New York. We saw Times Square for a minute. And then Jackie at ABCVIP showed me what New York was.
Yeah. And like I was saying, like including tax and gratuity, which is like almost an extra 30% when you think about it on top of your bill, including that in the experiences when they book them has been such a game changer and changed the experience for the travelers in so many ways. So now, they don't have that added stress. The staff already knows that they're taken care of, so they're treating them better. And then on top of it, they're getting this experience that they would never get normally. They're really feeling like they're part of the family, which is what our goal is. Like we're really creating a community and, making everybody who books through us feel like they're part of our family.
I love that.
Thank you.
So let's go on a personal level. We could sit here and debate all the bad of 2020. How did 2020 change you as a person for the good?
Oh my God, how much time do you have? 2020 was definitely the year that I learned more about myself personally and professionally than I probably have in the past 10 years combined. I cried a lot, I'm not gonna lie, but it paved the way for such an incredible 2021 so far. And it just, everything that I went through, again, personally and professionally, has taught me how strong I really am and like the grit and perseverance that I've just absolutely shown through with this has been something that has made me really proud. Like I've always been really hard on myself. Like I'm always like, everyone's like, oh, you're doing such a great job. I'm like, oh, I could do better, but like now I'm telling you, I'm feeling so good because what I've accomplished and how I've been able to pull this company out of the darkness 2 times in 1 year. I mean, we kind of redid the model before the second shutdown. And then we were going to the second shutdown. I was like, all right, this can't happen again. So I put everything virtual and now we're just doing, more in-person experiences as they come. But, now that we have the virtual model, we can be national by this time next year. And it's completely changed the way the company is structured. And I'm so proud of it. It's so cool.
Now, you should be proud of it because it's incredible what you're doing. And I believe that we're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. Right. Yeah. And you've pivoted the correct way. You didn't give up. We could go around the world and see how many people had to give up. Right. And you didn't, which is a testament to you and your grit and your grind, which is incredible. You should be proud of yourself. I'm proud of you as a friend and a colleague. That's incredible. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that it's coming and I can't wait for it to come because then the experiences are back. And it makes you even more value. Your value is here and it's way up there. You can't even measure the value of your company and now in the pandemic. And then when the light is in the tunnel, it's just going to open up for you. Because I know the next question that you're going to answer is going to be a good one. What does customer service mean to you and your company?
Like I said, we just want to make sure everybody feels like they're getting a personalized experience. They know how much they mean to us as our client, really. So every guest of the hotels that we partner with, every one of them that books through us, we assign them a personal concierge. So they have a point of contact throughout their entire stay. We're a free service for the hotels and for the restaurants. We are really just helping everybody. And then
It
obviously,
means everything to you.
yeah. And you've obviously been to our events. All of our events give back to the community.
Always.
And I remember when I started this, people would be like, how are you giving back to the, like, why are you donating money when you don't even have enough to like pay rent? And I'm like,
It's the right thing to
because
do.
I funded the company out of my savings and I built it off of YouTube videos and Google. So they're like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, well, that's what it's about. Like, it's about giving back. It's about helping people. It's about helping local venues thrive in, you know, a competitive time, or almost an impossible time now. It's about giving back to the community, to our charity partners that need it. It's about giving people these experiences that they wouldn't get normally. And we're just helping everybody. And it's like a win-win-win-win model. And that's why I could never let it go. I just couldn't. I probably should have a million times, but I couldn't. And I was actually on another podcast and the guy was like, oh, you know, you have like thresholds, right? Where you like hit a certain amount of money and you probably would give it up at that point. And I was like, yeah, so if I did that, because I did that, I was like, all right, when I get down to 20,000 in my bank account, I'm getting a job. Or when I get down to 10, and thank God I didn't do it, because then I wouldn't be here right now. So you just got to make it work.
Keep pushing.
Yeah.
With that, there's so many young, hungry, want to go and do it. What would be your one advice to someone that's thinking about going out and starting their passion project? What's your one advice from all of your experience, your ups and downs, your success that is here now and your success is coming? What's that one advice that you would give to?
I mean, just never give up. I mean, it's really hard. I mean, being an entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur is really tough. I mean, there's nobody saying like you have to get out of bed every day. If you have a really bad day, you just want to give up, but you can't, because if you do, then the next day won't be as good. And it's just a really, I mean, it's a roller coaster of emotions, but I think that not allowing yourself to let the financial portion of it affect you as much is really important. So like I, again, like funded it out of my savings. So I'm just like paying rent in New York City and paying for, I built my own website because I was tired of paying developers to upset me. But other than that, I'm watching my savings be depleted and, I'm not getting any income. So it was so hard for me to not give up, because I was like, all right, well, if it weren't for the financial portion of it, like I'm getting all these partners, I'm getting all of this, like there's so much like measurable growth every day, but the money isn't there. And it's like, if it weren't for the money portion of it, I think that I would have had such like a different mentality, but it put me under a pressure that I hope that other people don't have to go through. And, obviously when you start a company, you assume that the first 2 years you're not going to make anything. You don't anticipate a pandemic happening where you're not going to make anything for 3 years. But, you just make it work. And it's I don't know. It's hard.
No, you do know. You don't get to say you don't know. You do know.
Yeah.
From this short conversation, you've shown tremendous knowledge of you've done it all. You've pushed forward. We've all been sitting in that corner crying and then continued forward. I'm bootstrapping my company. I don't know if it was the best idea to sell all my Bitcoin right before it skyrocketed, but that's a different story.
So actually, Waffle saved the company.
Waffle.
So yeah,
we would, if you'd like to introduce Waffle, this is there he is, employee of the month over month. Wow.
And our mascot, obviously, he like lays in my lap all day, pretty much. But yeah, he actually saved the company. So the company was just a hospitality company at first, and then I always, I'm very hospitable, obviously. So I started a company off of it. So I always had all my friends over all the time. So when I moved to New York, I was like, this is it. This is going to be my place. I didn't even have a housewarming party. I was like, I just want my personal space, And then, so I didn't really have friends over ever. And then I got Waffles, and I don't know, I couldn't leave my puppy at home. So I started having my friends over for game nights and, cooking these nice dinners. And then when I was really running out of money, like to a dangerous level, I was like, all right, maybe I should start doing this at venues. So I started doing game nights at venues, and that catapulted us into our event planning. And he doesn't know it, but he actually saved the company. But that's how we became a hospitality and event company. And, the events really kept a roof over our head for a good amount of time while we were building the hospitality model. So it's pretty crazy.
I'll give you a little advice. You need another dog named Syrup.
Oh, or chicken.
See,
wouldn't that be so good if I had chicken and waffles? Yeah. I mean, his middle name's Nugget, so technically he is chicken and waffles. It's a stretch.
Jackie, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And we wish you nothing but the world and everything in it, because you deserve it. You've worked your ass off for everything. And I'm excited to continue growing a relationship with you and watching you thrive and watching you take care of your clients, because you know exactly what that means. Before we go, how do we get a hold of you? How can people reach out to work with you?
So our website is abcvip.nyc. So it's pretty easy to remember. And you can always just contact us through that. And yeah, that's the best way. We've got a few different concierges on that mailbox. So we'll see it right away, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And yeah, I'm just really excited for the future. And thank you so much for having me, and just really excited. Thank you.
Absolutely. We will be checking back in soon. Jackie, thank you so much. And I really look forward to talking to you again soon.
Likewise. Thank you.
That was awesome.
Thank you for listening to the Network Table Podcast. For more information, please visit truecomparepeo.com.